In the winter of 2014, I was working as a music teacher at a local music academy, and my first baby was about 1 year old. I was also trying to get my online marketing agency off the ground, and I was starting this YouTube channel as well. I had a few other projects on my plate, and people were constantly telling me how amazing I was. But I didn't feel amazing. I just felt tired and really busy and stressed out. And I knew that I needed help, or else I needed to cut way back. And honestly, cutting way back wasn't really an option I had, because I had to keep working the job that I had to pay the bills. Obviously, I had to take care of my son. And I also really wanted to be pursuing my career online because I wanted to create a new lifestyle for myself. So I really wanted to be doing some of these things, and I really had to be doing others of them. So I decided to try to get some help. But what followed was several years, almost 4 years, of trying to hire people and having it not work out very well for one reason or another. I mean, kind of the root of the issues was that I didn't have a budget to invest in getting help really at all. But even beyond that, I just had no idea who to hire or where to find them or how to work with them effectively. When I finally did manage to hire some help that actually helped me, which by the way wasn't until 2018, it did make such a big difference. Not only was I able to get some things off my plate, enabling me to work less, but I was also able to double down on the more important things that I needed to do to grow my business, which allowed us to grow a lot faster and allowed me to be able to earn more. In fact, due to the help of my team, this past year, we were able to gross $500,000. So in this video, I really just want to share some advice with you that can hopefully help you to kind of fast forward through my long trial and error process and cut to the place where you can hire some effective help and afford to do so as well. So in this video, we're going to cover 3 things. First of all, how to afford to hire help. Second, how to decide who to hire. And then third, how to find the right person for the job. So I want you to imagine that there's this machine that can print real authentic cash. You definitely want it, right? But here's the thing. The machine costs $1,000 and you don't have $1,000. So what are you gonna do? Well, I would be willing to bet that you would figure out a way to get $1,000. You'd find something in your house you could sell, you'd start a side hustle, you'd babysit on the weekends, you would do something so that you could get that money and buy this machine that's gonna make you money, right? Well, the same is kind of true with hiring someone. If you do it right, hiring someone is something that you can do, something you can pay for that will actually earn you more money. So it's not just an expense, but it's actually an investment. So when you think about it that way, then when you try to think about how can I afford to hire someone, it becomes a lot more obvious. But I don't want to gloss over this because I know that if you don't have the money right now, then that seems like a big obstacle. I know because I've been there. I was there for quite a few years when I was just completely broke. I don't come from money myself or anything like that, so I've just been slowly working my way up over the years. And for the first several years after being married, my husband and I didn't really have any money to invest in these businesses we were trying to build. So I had to figure out creative ways to hire that help. And so while I think that when you think about hiring someone as an investment, you can understand why you might be willing to make some sacrifices and make that investment. But in order to do that, first of all, you need to know who to strategically hire. So we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes here. But before that, let's talk about how to actually get the money. First of all, those things I just mentioned. You might want to kind of go the extra mile, sell something in your house or do a side hustle so that you can get this money faster to hire these people who can help you. Beyond that, I would highly recommend that you start setting this money aside, saving it into a separate account. And remember, this money isn't just for this person you're hiring. This money is really for you. This is going to be an investment you make in yourself, in your well-being, in your happiness, and in the future of growing your business and in the future of the lifestyle you're creating for yourself. So start earning more money, start setting that money aside, and then third, figure out who strategically you can hire who will earn you money really quickly so that you don't have to save up the money you're going to pay them for a year before you start earning a profit from them, but you actually can start to see that return within just a few months of bringing them on. Okay, so that brings us to the second point, which is how can you figure out who to hire? How can you figure out who you can hire that will really help you and that will really earn you money and that will really help you grow on into the future? So the first principle here is I would not recommend hiring anyone, before you start earning some money in your business. Because before you earn any money, you really don't have any proof of concept of your business. You don't know for sure if you're going to be able to make money. You're really still in that validation stage. We've got a video all about that over here, so click that link if you want to learn how to validate your business idea and earn your first dollars. But once you've earned that money, then what you need to do is you need to look at what activities are making you money in your business. So most likely there are going to be two different categories of tasks that you could hire someone to do that would really help you out. The first category will be things that are really important to your business, the things that are actually making you money, that are moving the needle in your business, that are affecting that bottom line of your profits. You know what these things are, at least you do if you are making money right now. So for me, one of these things that I realized was making YouTube videos. When I made a video, it got me leads, and some of those leads turned into sales. So the more YouTube videos I made, the better YouTube videos I made, the more money I made. And so I realized that if I could hire someone who could help me make more better videos, then that person would quickly pay their way. And in fact, that is who I finally ended up hiring that helped me so much. A video editor. They saved me hours of work every single week, and they quickly started earning me money. The second category of tasks are things that aren't really making you money, but they're things that you need to do to keep your business running smoothly. This might be stuff like admin work, it might be answering emails or dealing with customer service questions, formatting content, publishing content, or sharing it on social media. Exactly what this work is definitely going to vary from person to person, but the common idea here is it's stuff that is really taking your energy away from the most important things that you need to do to grow your business. So for example, in my business, I needed to make YouTube videos, but something that was taking a whole lot of my time was just fielding all of the random emails I was getting every day from people who were consuming my content online. Because while some of them were leads, people who were actually my target customer, a lot of them were just random people who wanted to tell me random things about my videos, like make random suggestions when they didn't even understand what my videos were about, and that wasn't helpful. So I needed to hire someone who was a virtual assistant who could just help me manage my inbox, and that saved me a whole lot of time and gave me a lot of energy back to be able to focus on making strategic decisions in my business, making my videos, and improving the products that I was selling. Once you've figured out what position you can hire for that is really going to earn you money and be a big help to you, then it's time for the final part of the process, which is finding the right person for the job. There are three important principles here. The first one is to get super clear about exactly who you're trying to hire. If you only have a vague idea about this position you're hiring for, it's going to be really tough to find the right person for the job. So get crystal clear about exactly what this person is going to do, how it is going to be helping you, and what qualities this person needs to have in order to be the right person for the job. And then once you're clear about it, then you can write a job description and you can start sharing it online. And this is the second part of the process. You need to post your job description as many places as possible so that you can get a lot of candidates, because the larger the pool of candidates you're choosing from, the more options you'll have and the better decision you'll be able to make. So I would highly recommend sharing your job posting in Facebook groups for freelancers, on websites like Upwork, as well as on job posting sites. You'll also want to reach out to any sort of network you have so that you can get referrals, because a lot of the time those end up being your best options. The final super important part of the hiring process is to run your candidates through a series of tests. I have made the mistake too many times, like I really should have learned by now, of just hiring someone based on my gut instinct without doing enough tests. While I really think it is good to rely on your gut and to feel things out, I also think that we shouldn't jump onto things too soon just because they feel good. So in other words, we need to first examine people's resumes and rule out all of the people whose resumes don't look great, because you will find that quickly rules out somewhere between 50% and 80% of your candidates. It's a really quick way to figure out who has some basic skills. Once you've dealt with the resumes, then you can move on to round number 2, which is interviews. So this is where you will schedule interviews with these people and talk to them face to face and ask them some questions. You will learn a lot, both based on who actually shows up to the interviews and of course based on the answers they give and on how they answer the questions, how they present themselves. So once you've done your interviews, then the final part will be to do a trial with them. So for this, you're going to have them do some sort of test project. So I want you to bring them on before you commit to a long-term contract. It could be one video editing project, it could be a 1-week trial, it could be one design project. So whatever the type of work is you want them to do for you, figure out a way you can have them do one complete project so that you'll be able to evaluate them well before you enter into a long-term contract. In conclusion, hiring help can be a big help, but don't hire anyone until you start making money. And when you decide it is time to hire someone, make sure you hire someone who will make you money. And then get out there and look for these people. I promise there are tons of great people out there who will be a big help to you if you get out there and look for them. And then finally, don't forget to run them through a series of rigorous tests to make sure you're hiring the right person before you hire them for a long-term contract. All right, well, that brings us to the end of this episode of Small Business 101. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure that you subscribe if you want to get access to future free episodes of the series. And also, please leave the video a like. Just hit that little thumbs up button down there if you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. And I'll see you back again here next week for the next episode.